Ron Johnson in Wisconsin's doing very well. Ted Budd in North Carolina. I endorsed Ted, and nobody had heard of Ted Budd. I endorsed him. He was a congressman from a certain area, but they don't want to talk about that because he's looking like he's heavily favored. So they don't want to talk. They only want to say Trump with, I don't want to use names, Trump with this one, this one, this one. They don't want to talk about the ones that are killing it, right? But Ted Budd is doing fantastic. Herschel Walker, who right now is in a debate as we speak. In fact, I'm going to leave you guys. I want to watch this damn debate. But one of the great inventions in history is TiVo. You know, television is not a great invention because without TiVo, meaning TiVo or its equivalent, who the hell wants to watch television? You know? They say, you were just on. I say, I'll never see it again, right? But anyway, but we'll watch that later on. But Herschel Walker right now, and I think he's great. And he's Herschel. Herschel was one of the great football players ever. 10.2 yards a carry for a period of time. He was actually great in the NFL too. You know, he had a great career. He had a great career, but he was maybe the best in college. You agree? I mean, all time. I'd say him and Barry Sanders. He had a few of them, right? 3 or 4, let's say they're all pretty good. But Herschel was right there, and in Georgia, there's never been anything like it. And Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania now is leading her tide. It's been a very tough, and he took a lot of pounding during the primaries. You know, they spent $54 million trying to destroy him. But he's a good man, and he's working very hard. J.D. Vance is doing very well in Ohio. Blake Masters, I just left. We did a big rally. We had thousands, tens of thousands of people in Arizona. Adam Laxalt, I just left there too. Can you imagine? I'm doing all these rallies, and I'm not doing them for myself. I said, when am I going to start thinking about myself? These guys know more about my rallies than I do. How many have you been to, would you say?
Oh, boy.
A hell of a lot. Keep coming. My lucky charm. You guys are great. No, but they've been to a lot of them, right? You usually travel together, or do you say, to hell with it, we just meet up? You travel? Huh? That's good. Well, we love you guys. We love you guys. And they always have the best seat. You know, in theory, and I tell people, the best seat's over here, like you have tonight, right? But actually, the best seat's behind me because you become famous. You might have to look at my ass. The best seat is actually behind me because you become famous. We've actually had sometimes you'll have a young woman. Now, of course, I would never say anything like this because I want to be politically correct, and you're not allowed to say that anymore. Okay. So I would not say, he goes, who cares? Who said that? Who said that? Who cares? Who cares? But sometimes you'll have a young, beautiful woman behind. And on a couple of occasions, people watching from Hollywood have gone and they've said, would you like to come on to Hollywood? I don't know what the hell happened, but it does happen. I don't know if it's going to happen with you, but I'll pick you anytime. But sometimes it happens. I'll tell you, we've had 2 instances. I mean, people are riveted to the television. I said they're looking at me. No, they're looking over this a little bit left, a little bit right. But we have great people. We have great people. We have great-looking people, both inside and out. That's what I like. But we have to elect these people, and I think we're going. We need the majority in the Senate, and we need the majority in the House. And the House, I think, is interesting. The Senate, if you would have told me a month ago that we're really looking at beyond having the 50, it'd be very surprising. Today I'm watching one of the shows, and they're predicting more than 50, even 52, and that's amazing. But a lot of these races, you know, people are tired of crime. And they're tired of inflation and a bad economy, and they're tired of stupid people running things, and they're tired of hearing about nuclear weapons. You know, the Iran deal would have never, if you look at Iran, I got out of that. They want to make it. They want to put us back into that deal. They're trying like hell to make it. Maybe now, finally, they're getting the picture that that's not going to work. Okay. But what I did for Israel, not only did, you know, the capital of Jerusalem with the right? We got our beautiful Israel taken care of, and we've done more for Israel than any other president. But when you look, the biggest thing I did, not only the capital, we designated, as you know, through our wonderful people that we had representing us, and they were happy. I think 8 or 9 or 10 presidents said they were going to do that, and I did it. And we gave them the Mount on High. Everybody knows about the Mount on High. But the most important thing I did is I terminated the horrible Iran nuclear deal, because I don't believe that Israel survives. I'll tell you what, Israel is going to have some problem surviving if that's allowed to go. And that's one of many problems. I mean, you look now, and if you take a look at Ukraine, that could lead to World War III. And I've been saying that a long time. Somebody's got a hat on over here, and it says Trump was right on everything. And it's true. I don't want to brag, but I've been right on everything. So, but getting the embassy built in Jerusalem is it's sort of an interesting story, because a general came in to see me. Sir, yes, what is it, General? Would you please sign this, sir? What is it? Sir, this is a $2 billion funding of the embassy in Israel, in Jerusalem. I said, oh, do you have a second? No, sir. I said, why do you need $2 billion if you don't have a second? So I said, boy, that's a lot of money. $2 billion for a one-story building, right? Anybody in the real estate? Here you could build it in Florida. You could build it for about $2, right? I said, General, put it away. I think we could do better. So I called up our ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, good guy. And I said, David, we're always there first, and we always own lots of land. Do we have any land in Jerusalem? Sir, I'll check. So he calls me back the next day. He says, we have a great piece, very high, building setback, building is vacant, and we could renovate the building. I said, how much? I'll get back to you again. He calls me up. He says, I think we could do a beautiful job for $280,000. Now, I just turned down $2 billion, right? I said, David, you have to do me a favor. Number one, use Jerusalem stone, because I have a friend in New York, one of the richest guys, Barron, his name is Ron Barron. And he's got beautiful office building in New York, and his wall opposite the elevator, it's like half the size of this wall, not a big deal. And his wall, he looks back, you're right. His wall is Jerusalem stone. Every time I go in, he says, this is Jerusalem stone. He's sold like 10 times. So here we are, I'm in Jerusalem. I said, David, see if you can use Jerusalem stone. They said, we're in Jerusalem, right? So anyway, I said, David, don't say 250,000. It's the only time I've ever done this in my life. A guy said 250, and I said, make it more, make it 500,000. 250 sounds too low. But we have this building, nice building, old, and we renovated it for $500,000. And it was built 4 months later and opened. There's never, now they'll do this, someday they'll knock it down and build a stupid embassy that won't look as good, won't be as good, it'll end up being smaller. Not, what they do is just incredible. But so we got it, not only did we do Jerusalem, but we got the building built. And it's all out of this beautiful Jerusalem stone. It's really a beautiful building. But Iran, if they're allowed to have a nuclear weapon, that deal would have ended 1 week. As I came back, we would have had the Iran nuclear deal. Iran would have made a deal with us 100%, because China couldn't buy. We didn't let China buy. We didn't let it. If you buy oil, we're not doing business with you, China. If you buy oil, there's no doing business with you. They make $500 billion a year with the United States. But they don't like me too much because I put tariffs on China. 50% and 25%. And I saved our steel industry by doing it. I saved our washing machine industry. I saved a lot of industries. And we took in almost $500 billion from China. Not one president took in anything. So we had the strongest border. We had the best economy in history. Pre-COVID, I told this the other night, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came alive from the dead, right? The pollster told me this, a great pollster, John McLaughlin. Fabrizio told me, another great pollster. If they came alive from the dead, and they said, George, and he said, what is it, Abe? Let's run. Let's run. Let's run against who? Trump. George Washington, president. Abe Lincoln, vice president, against Trump. We would have won by 35 points, okay? No, we had the greatest economy in history. We were doubling up in China. We were doing numbers that nobody ever thought was possible. African American, Asian American, Hispanic American. People that didn't graduate from high school, no diploma, people that did graduate from high school, people that went to the Wharton School of Finance and MIT and all these great places, and they had people that went, if they had a great doctorate, everybody was doing well. Women, everybody. And I will say, I was starting to get calls from the people on the left. See, now I talk about very nicely, the people on the left as opposed to the lunatics on the left. Then they became lunatics again. But the people on the left were calling, and I'm telling you, there was going to be a unification in this country. Yes, sir. And then we noticed a little thing come in from China. I'm looking